Let's go back to the phone lines and talk to Vernetta, listing in Bowling Green, Kentucky, Sirius XM 131. Hi, Vernetta.
Hi, Hank. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking my call. I have a quick question. I listen to your show off and on, and you talk about discernment.
Yes.
How do you tell whether a thought is of your own making, of my own making, or if it's influenced by Satan or outside forces or the enemy? I'm having trouble with that, and I just want to get your input on how I can be more discerning of my thoughts and where they're coming from and so forth. And I'll go ahead and hang up and let you answer that. Thank you so much.
You got it, and a good question, but I think maybe it's putting the wrong emphasis in view here, because the idea is not to discern whether our thoughts are from the world, the flesh, or the devil. The real issue is the antidote, whether it's the world, the flesh, or the devil. We can't always tell. But we are able to always put on the full armor of God so that we can take our stand against principalities and powers of darkness, because that is where the warfare, the battle is being waged. So we have to put on the full armor of God. If we do, we're invincible in spiritual warfare. If we do not, we are guaranteed casualties. So once again, the Apostle Paul puts the emphasis in spiritual warfare on trusting in God's providence to protect us from evil, as opposed to the prowess or power of evil. But nonetheless, we are called to put on the full armor of God. And when we do, we can take our stand, and after everything else, we can stand. And so I have written a book about this very thing, because it's incredibly important that we can stand in the midst of what is most certainly a world filled with spiritual warfare. Our first parents faced this. I mean, when Adam and Eve fell into constant lies, terminated by sin, it was because they were tempted. In that case, they were tempted in a very, very interesting way. They had everything, so it was hard to tempt them. But they were tempted to become God, not by God's process of deification or theosis, but by self-deification. They could become God on their own terms. So they were tempted by Satan, and the rest of posterity has been tempted by Satan as well. One of the things that we read in Scripture is that from one man, from Adam, God created every nation of men that they should inhabit the whole earth. He determined the exact times and places that they should live. He did that so that men might reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. So we are all those who have, as I mentioned in the opening of the broadcast, all those who have a broken gene, a propensity towards sin, ultimately leading towards death, and thus we should take the antidote, the full armor of God. By the way, if you want to find it, Ephesians 6:10 through 20,